Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Jack Lane. Welcome back to Stay Cinematic. So, I watched Superman 2025. James Gunn's Superman, the DCU reboot. I finally watched it because it released digitally and I managed to, check it out. The issue I'm having with the movie, I just want to say this first. The issue I'm having with the movie is it's getting hate it necessarily doesn't deserve. That's kind of the only thing I have. If you want to hear a more in-depth my thoughts on the film, let me know in the comments below and I will make a video on that. But today we're going to be talking about Superman 2 because it seems it's coming. The movie blog have reported the Superman follow-up speeds up with early 2026 production and July 2027 release. This kind of indicates what I kind of thought was going to happen. According to an insider, Empire City Box Office, Warner Bros. Is targeting an early 2026 project start for a Superman 2. The film is expected to hit theaters in July 2027. Gunn is unwilling to label it a sequel, but it's clear that Superman will be at the forefront of the story. So this is the thing. James Gunn has announced he's writing a new movie. He's also announced that Superman will be in it. He hasn't said if it's... people have gone Superman 2 and he's gone, well, yeah, but no. As a fan of the new movie, which is something I understood tad, as a fan of the movie, as a fan of DC, I think it's smart that he's saying this isn't a Superman 2. Superman's in it, and you can, as fans, you can look at it as Superman 2, but what I'm making isn't Superman 2. In 2020, I think it's 27, we have a movie, I believe, called The Dynamic Duo. Now, that's not a Batman movie. 2028, the movie releases, okay? And is expected in June 30th. I think this 2027 movie, because they can't do a Batman film, right? Because the Batman Part 2 is releasing in 2027. But you're going to put a movie about Robin out before a Batman flick? Doesn't really work. Or, same scenario with Clayface. They're doing a Clayface film and there's no Batman. Doesn't necessarily work. What I think is genuinely happening, and I think this is going to cross over into from the Clayface movie to now, into this 2027 film. We know we have Supergirl, and Supergirl is going to be probably a direct follow-on from Superman. Then we're going to have Clayface, and I don't see the connection between the two. And then Clayface is going to lead into this 2027 film, this Superman sequel. Because I think it's going to be world's finest heroes. Superman built up the fact that he is a part of the Justice Friends or Justice Society, whatever they call themselves. They're not the Justice League yet. Now, Superman and Batman have probably met. Okay, Batman's been in the DCU. He appeared before Superman did. He was in Creature Commandos. So here's my take on this, okay? You're going to get world's finest. You're going to get world's finest movie. Superman's the forefront and Batman's the side character. But it's going to be like a BVS sort of scenario where it launches Batman before his solo film because you have to launch him before you do this Dynamic Duo movie. And unless they're releasing a movie in March of 2028, they're not getting a Batman film in. Okay? Now, another report has also said that Wonder Woman is to launch next year. No, next year, 2027. So it's the next three projects are a Supergirl movie, is a Clayface, and a Wonder Woman. Now we're getting reports that a Superman's coming out for 2027. Okay. They could be really smart here and do a Trinity storyline, or they do a Wonder Woman film that sets up world's finest, and you have Batman and Superman meet. You introduce the new Batman in that movie. You don't need to do the whole bang, Bruce's parents are killed like they did in BVS. I feel like BVS didn't even need to have that scene because we'd seen it in 2005. We got a rehash of it in 2012 with Dark Knight Rises. We didn't need to re-see it. People who doesn't know that Bruce's parents are dead, you're going to know by the end of it because that's his whole demeanour. But I think this Superman 2, which James Gunn's going, don't call it Superman 2 because it's not a Superman 2. Superman's in it, but it's not Superman 2. Is genuinely because he knows what happened to Snyder. Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman movie was titled Man of Steel 2, and he never course corrected it. He never said, no, it's not. Then when it was BVS, it was, oh, okay. BVS did okay. BVS did great. It did 838 million, I believe, in the box office worldwide. But James Gunn is trying to not repeat the same mistakes. He's going, this is a Superman. Superman's in it, but it's not Superman 2. I think it's world finest. I think Batman's got to appear. He's got to appear in live action form before this Robin movie comes out. Before this dynamic duo movie, because he's got to appear in that. He has to appear. They were like, "Well, you're just Batman fans. That's why you're saying it." Well, yeah. But realistically, you don't have a Nightwing and you don't have a Jason Todd, Red Hood, or Robin, whatever they're doing with him, in that movie without a Batman. So Batman's got to be part of that origin story. If you're going to put scenes of our DCU Batman without casting him, without having him speak in that movie, fine. But I can't see it happening. Because they also need to do the whole introduction of the Bat family. Now, you may be like, well, hang on a second. Does that mean Damian Wayne's going to be in World Finest? No. I think what you do is you do World's Finest in 2027. You make that movie as good as possible. Make it the introduction to Batman. Because Batman needs an introduction. And then 2028, in the after Dynamic Duo, so in the latter, you put Brave and the Bold out, which is essentially the beginning of Damian Wayne's story, and you do the Batman and Son comic of how Bruce meets Damian, realizes he's his son. That's what you do. That's how you do it, I think. But 2027, a new Superman project. Superman is in the project. Very excited about that. I also think Superman's going to be in Supergirl. I genuinely do. One of my biggest love as a Superman was Krypto. And Krypto's in Supergirl. So, will I be seeing Supergirl? Yeah. The only fear I have for Supergirl at the box office is, and people are going to be harsh and critical, Supergirl only really has one known media outlet for non-comic book fans. I've read Supergirl comics. I've read Woman of Tomorrow. I've read some of the DC Rebirth stuff. I think Woman of Tomorrow was DC Rebirth. But I'm going to go and read the New 52 and all that, because I've got the DC Universe app. Like, loads of comics. And I reckon, if you guys want to get into comics, they have one for Marvel, they have one for DC, do it. Best investment. I think I spend like £200 a year on comics, and I get everything. And you also get Batman and Hush 2, which is great at the moment. And of course, it's being rebooted. Batman's being rebooted next month. So, that'll be good as well. Yeah. So, if you wanted to know kind of where my head's at with the Superman news, I want to make a video on it. It's World Finest. It's going to be Batman. It's going to be Superman. And if it's not World's Finest, it's going to be DC Trinity, which is Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. I think, Krypto is going to be in Supergirl. I'm going to love that. But yeah, I think we're just looking at fantastic DC movies from here on out. I think Batman's going to appear in Clayface, but yeah, the 2027 movie, the Superman follow-up. Superman 2 is the next project on DCU slate, following Supergirl, Clayface, and Wonder Woman with Warner Bros. Moving fast. Fans can expect more announcements about the DC universe. Okay, so reading that, Wonder Woman's coming before it. So probably World's Finest. Probably World's Finest. I can't see him doing a direct Superman sequel straight away. Because, one, and this is just me being totally honest, you need to sort of set... I mean, maybe he will, because, you know, Iron Man had Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, within the span of... You only had a year gap between them. So maybe they do that. But for me, I'm sat here looking at it going, well, actually, I would prefer you do World's Finest and introduce Batman, and it be a Superman story, but with Batman. I can see David Cornsweet playing Superman for the next 20 years in Justice League. He will be the Robert Downey Jr. of the DCU. Now you may go, no, he won't. No, Snyder's the best. Henry Cavill. It's over. Henry Cavill's Superman is dead. This is the new Superman. I don't want to rant. I'm going to do a rant video. I'm going to do a rant video on this whole situation. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you looking forward to this Superman 2? We'll call it Superman 2 at the moment. Title is Superman 2 2027. But I think it's World's Finest. And of course, we'll get more information next year. I don't think he's going to reveal too much. But if he's announced it's going into production next year and it has a July release date, I think James Gunn's already like halfway through the script. So, with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye. And as always, like, comment, subscribe. Stay cinematic. See you later.